Well, guys, it's training night, and so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get to training. So, um, first off, before we get started with any of this, I want you guys to know, here comes Mr. Thomas, 601. Someone get on him. Is I am illiterate when it comes to all this stuff. And if it wasn't for my wife putting this stuff together and setting this stuff up, you guys would be looking at stick figures and crayons. God is my witness, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. I used to do it at the firehouse. Give me the crayons. They knew it was training time. Chalk, whatever it was. We're going to get busy. So it's more important that you guys get the information for me than to have pretty pictures. But I'm so blessed to have such an amazing woman to do all this. And I'm telling you guys, without it, you'd stick figures and crayons. So with that being said, guys, what did we decide to talk about today, babe? So we kind of arguing back and forth to see whose idea this was.
Let me pull up the PowerPoint and then we'll get started. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen.
And it's interesting, guys, because this is something we don't always know what to talk about. And sometimes Mr. Thomas makes it easy and says, "Hey, can you talk about A, B, or C?" And then it's easy to dig that stuff up. But when you've got an open slate to sit with to talk, but I'm going to tell you what: if you guys have not read the Think and Grow Rich, where he talks about masterminding, you are missing out, because that's what the wife and I did today. We started a mastermind. So basically, here it is. What's holding you back? And here's what's interesting, guys. Anytime you get training from us, it's usually because it's something we're going through. And if any of y'all have the same issues, we hope this helps. If not, I just want to know why you're not SVP yet. Because these are some of the issues that we deal with. So if you guys know, anytime we ever come up with a scenario to talk about, Rose or myself, it's something that we're going through, okay? Or we've experienced, and we see other people experience it on the team. So what's holding you back?
All right, so let's go into number one. The first thing, the power of your thoughts and language. Okay, so we actually had a young man, very sharp young man that we met in this business, and he was a go-getter. I mean, he was fearless, incredible individual. He could talk to anybody. He was so, I mean, really, he was coachable even, and he was so creative. He actually created a system as far as him and this other business partner worked together. They were able to do everything through online before everything became through Zoom.
Online.
He literally was being able to launch people, present the business, everything through a system. He did this. But one thing I noticed about this individual, he would always talk about how his family was very broke-minded. He'd always talk about that they live off of Social Security, they're on disability, and he says,
smoke weed all the time.
Yeah, and he said, I don't want to be like them. I want to break that cycle. But here's the thing. He didn't just say that once. He said that over and over and over and over again. We heard it so many times. And what people need to understand is that when you say it, it means it's in your thoughts. It's in your mind. These are things that he probably was consumed with, and he was constantly thinking about this. And what ended up happening, it came out. Because the power of our voice, what we say, the tongue is so powerful. And guess what he was doing? He was bringing it into his life. And fast forward, I don't even know how long was it. He was in the business probably a good, 4 or 5 years. Yeah. He hit executive team leader. There was times he was in massive momentum. He brought in so many people. He made a really good money in the business. But here's what ended up happening. That language, that conversation, he continued to have over and over and over. Guess what ended up happening in his life today? Guess where he is?
Smoking weed.
He's living off of, just like his family. Just everything he said he didn't want to be and become is exactly who he is today. He's living off of disability. Sad. And it's crazy. And you know what his logic is today? Well, it's kind of like passive income. So he's justified in his mind that that's okay for him because I don't have to do anything and I still make a paycheck. But again, he won't do any more because he doesn't want to lose that paycheck. Okay. So that's what's really, really sad. We're actually going to play. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to play a YouTube real quick. And I want you to see this. It talks about this as far as the power of our thinking. Let's minimize this. Okay. So can you see my screen right now? Can you see this? You see the YouTube?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Here we go.
Your words, mixed with your beliefs, blend to become your reality. What you speak over your life is what your life will become. If you're always talking about how you're stuck where you are, how you can't find a way to get out of the situation you're in, how you never get any luck, how you'll never be wealthy. No, you're right. You'll never have those things if that's what you say and that's what you believe. If you don't believe it, you won't even try to get it. Instead of saying, I don't know how to do it, say, I am committed to learn how to do it. Instead of saying, I always procrastinate and never get anything done, say, I am going to find something that matters to me more than anything, and then I am going to get the job done. Instead of saying, I'm a failure, say, I failed. I've learned the lesson, and when I become a huge success, that failure is going to make for one hell of a story. Instead of saying, my best days are behind me, say, my best is yet to come. Instead of believing others are born lucky or with special gifts, know that you are capable of anything. Know that you can study and commit to learning from great people. Know that you can become a great person in your own right. Every day, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am a great person. I am a kind person. I am strong. I am capable of anything. I am growing more each day. I am committed. I am determined. I have no limits. I can have the health and the body of my choice. I will have the health and the body of my choice. I can have the wealth of my choice. I will have the wealth of my choice. I do deserve abundance. I am worthy. I am more than worthy. I can make a huge difference in others' lives. I will make that difference. Gandhi once said, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. When you start blending your beliefs and your words together, they become so powerful you can move mountains. You are the creator of your destiny, and it starts with the words you speak into your life. Speak positive things into your life, strong things. Speak love and happiness into your life, and you'll notice more love and happiness. Speak good of others, and you may see more good from others. Speak your dreams into existence. Believe your dreams will become reality. Act and live as though they are, and they so will be. Muhammad Ali said he would be the greatest, and he became the greatest. He had no doubt in his mind. That is the same level of certainty you should speak about your dreams. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am wise. Opportunities are everywhere. Money flows with ease. Joy is everywhere. I am attracting such amazing people into my life. I am blessed. I am surrounded by blessings. I have more than enough. I am full of energy. I am strong. I am fit. I am such a positive influence to those around me. I have amazing friends. I am abundant. I am constantly growing my income. I am constantly growing myself. I am constantly getting healthier, stronger, and fitter. My relationships are getting stronger every day. More love and joy every day. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but your words can shatter your dreams. Your beliefs, thoughts, and words will, I guarantee you, determine your destiny. Whatever you believe is your limit, is your limit. Every day, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am a great person. I am a kind person. I am strong. I am capable of anything. I am growing more each day. I am committed. I am determined. I have no limits. I can have the health and the body of my choice. I will have the health and the body of my choice. I can have the wealth of my choice. I will have the wealth of my choice. I do deserve abundance. I am worthy. I am more than worthy. I can make a huge difference in others' lives. I will make that difference. Daily affirmations are helpful because they reprogram your mind, your thoughts, and beliefs. Some of the most successful people on earth practice daily affirmations. If you're doing it consistently, every single day, in the morning, before you start your day, you will begin to develop new beliefs, and your life will start to change before your eyes. If it's not natural at first, if you feel like the words aren't believable, stick with it. The goal is to feel as though you already have the things you want. As you speak the words, feel as though you are already that person. Whatever words work for you, write them down, your own affirmation, and read them every day. That's the key. Repetition and feeling the words. If they get old, freshen them up to something more powerful and meaningful.
All right. Let these people in. All right. So let me stop sharing. All right. Wasn't that awesome? I love that. I hope you guys were repeating. I was repeating those affirmations. It becomes alive. All right. So let me do this. I'm going to share. We'll back to our PowerPoint here. All right. So number 2, that's number 1. Number 2 now is not following the system. Why, people? What's holding you back? So as you can see here, one of our previous regional directors put this as far as she talked about a funnel system and how if there's a leak in the funnel system, then that's where things fall out, right? Then it's not a successful system. And so if you see how this funnel system works, you see inviting, prospecting, right? Inviting people, prospecting people. Events is in between because everything's from event to event to event, right? We know that. The next piece right there is presenting the business. And now with Zoom, you don't even have to present the business. You can literally play a presentation from Tony Kupis or from somebody else, okay? Get yourself out of the way. And then another event. And then right there, closing or 3-way calls, next events, and then customers, and then events, and then you're going to hit regional vice president, senior vice president. Now, if you miss those steps, guess what happens? There's going to be problems. In fact, we're going to tell a story about our previous regional director. She was an amazing lady. This lady, I will tell you what, she built Fresno. She's the one who built Fresno, her and her daughter. Well, this lady was so incredible. She actually created, at the time it was called TC, but it's regional director today. She actually created regional directors here in Fresno, multiple ones. Then she went to San Diego and did the same thing. Then she went to Nevada and did the same thing, or Vegas. She did it again. Okay. This lady was so incredible, but here's one thing that she wasn't. She wasn't duplicatable. Okay. She was what we like to say, a one-hit wonder. Because the thing is, unfortunately, when she stepped aside and she's no longer, unfortunately, in this business, those people that she created to those positions, guess where they are? They are not doing the business as well. Okay. She was amazing. Again, she was absolutely amazing. But here's one thing that where we noticed when we were trying to follow them and they were the leaders at the time, right? Is that they talked about 3-way calls. But here's the problem. She became untouchable. We couldn't even reach out to her because she was one person doing everything, working with so many people. So we had to get to a level of earning her time, right? And see, that's not the system. the system says three-way calls, right? Because that's the whole duplicatable system. And so that's what we started lacking in. And so I will tell you guys, even if you don't have an upline, find a sideline, find even a downline, but train somebody who will work with you to help you do the three-way calling.
Trust.
Okay. And someone you absolutely trust to be able to do that, because that is part of the system. And that's something we never did in our business for the longest time, but that is part of the system. So again, don't be a one-hit wonder like
you guys remember this.
You remember this? Remember that song? Can you hear it?
Come on, Sam. This is your song. There you go.
Don't be a one-hit wonder. This guy was a one-hit wonder. One song, that's it. You don't know him anymore.
Yep, Sam got it down.
Yeah.
He's been clubbing.
So let me tell you a story that proves, or I kind of goes in conjunction with this as far as the system. See, understand ACN is a tried and tested system. You understand that the co-founders have decades of experience in network marketing, right? And anything that they bring to the table, the people that are working together with the ideas are COC, which means these are active people. These aren't CEOs of companies. These are people that are in the trenches out there building teams from scratch, right? So they understand, they can relate because they are just like us, right? So those are the people making this decision. So guess what? ACN, again, 28 system, it's tried, tested, and proven successful. So let me tell you the story of a toothpaste company. This business was, what they started to find out is they were getting, they had a funnel system or whatever that they had. It was a machine system. And what they were finding is these people that were buying the toothpaste, their distributors and so forth, they were finding there were empty boxes. And so they called and they told the company, hey, you guys, we're getting these empty boxes. Like, there's a problem here. So then this company's like, well, we can't have that. We can't be selling to all our buyers empty boxes of toothpaste. So then what they ended up doing, they got their CEOs of the company, the top people, the top management and so forth. And they said, okay, what are we going to do? Well, this is a big problem. How are we going to solve this? So what they did is they brought in consultants to do this. Okay. And they spent, you know how much money they spent? $6 million to do this, as far as the consulting, the mechanics and all that stuff that they did for the machinery, to fix this problem. It took them about 6 to 12 months to come up with the solution. Okay. It actually was a very complex system that they came up with, but every time a empty box of toothpaste came down that system, what ended up happening would be a buzzer that would go off. So then it would notify and they would take off those empty boxes, right? So, and obviously, so what they found out through the process, the wholesale and the retail, is they started saying, hey, we're not getting empty, they were getting about 6 empty boxes a week. So the wholesale and retail people were saying, hey, we're not getting this anymore. So they're like, great, this is working. Hey, we spent a lot of time, we put a lot of money into it, but it is working. Awesome, right? So there's no empty, but what ended up happening is time started going on. Not only did they find at that time that they were collecting the empty boxes, that at the end of that, the buzzard wasn't even going off at all. So all of a sudden there's not any empty boxes at all. The buzzard's not going off. And they're like, what the heck is going on? So they checked with the overseer of the process who does that. And the guy goes, they said, hey, the machine's not buzzing anymore. We're not getting empty boxes. What's going on? He said, oh, one of the employees, he got tired of the buzzing going off all the time. So he put a fan over there on the machine so he gets rid of the empty boxes, so that he got tired of that buzzing thing all the time. So do you understand that this company spent $6 million to hire all these top people, instead if they had talked to the people who were on the ground floor, they could have literally spent whatever, $20
for a fan, baby, to blow the empty boxes away.
So do you understand that ACN has already taken care of it? Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
Don't spend $6 million. Don't spend time and money and effort trying to do something your way. Right? Your own website, your own way, when the system's been proven and it's successful already, just the way it is. Okay. All right. So now let's go into number 3. What's holding you back? Not being coachable or teachable. And look what he says. You mean I I don't have to reinvent the wheel myself. Right. So one thing that Chris said, he said, we should be asking people these questions when we get them started.
Well, we always ask the people is like, we're launching them. What's your goal? What's your idea? Sam, where do you want to go with this? Oh, I want time and money freedom. And that's a big thing for a lot of people. I want money freedom. We just got someone in the business this last week, and her thing is she wants to take her kids to everyone's why kind of becomes your why, doesn't it? But she wants to take her children to every, what is it? Amusement park in America. So she wants to like go down to Magic Mountain, a couple hours away, get a hotel, go all day, then drive down to Anaheim, go to Disneyland, then so she wants to do that all over the country. Time and money freedom's needed, right? Well, and then she kind of ghosted us. But here's the question though. I said, we need to get into, like, this is what you want, but what are you willing to sacrifice to get that for your kids? What are you willing to sacrifice to get that for your mom, your parents, your sister, someone in your family who's sick? What are you willing to sacrifice? Big question. But that's the issue. What are you willing to sacrifice and for how long? How many people we've seen get in and like, oh, I want, to get off my job. I hate my job. And in a month, they're not as into the business as much because they're not willing to sacrifice the time it takes to get where they want to go. So that's the focus we really have to focus on to get them where they need to be. Once you get them through that, then they start becoming people like Sam Foster, or Luan Pinedo, or Marvin, or us, or Mr. Sherman. But we've got to get them through that first. So that's important to keep them focused on those things that they're going through. We have YouTube.
Yes. One thing that I will say is that a lot of times people will say that they're coachable and they're teachable, but that's actually code for I'm coachable as long as you tell me what I like to hear, right? Can we agree? And then once you tell them something that requires them to step out of that comfort zone, then it's like, well, that I don't know if I could do that, right? Okay, so
before you go, what was the one thing you talked about? Let me see here. I wrote it down here. Oh, guarantee. The guarantee.
Oh yeah, one thing, and I have confidence in saying this for myself. When I get somebody started, I can tell somebody straight face to say, I guarantee you will be successful. I will make you your money and then some. I guarantee you will. If you work with me, you will. And I have no hesitation saying that. But here's the catch. You have to follow the system. I'm going to lead you to the system. Number 2, you got to be coachable and teachable.
100%.
Those are the 2 things I say to somebody that I will guarantee. And I like I said, I know that I can. Because it's a system that's been proven in, but here's the problem, why people don't is because they'll say, sure, okay. But again, we already talked about when it gets uncomfortable, all of a sudden, well, I don't know if I can do that, right? Okay, so I'm gonna play just a short story of a lady that actually Miles Monroe, which I know we all love him. He tells a story of a lady that he tells her and how she was coachable and what happened in the story. So let me get that going right here. And then share again. All right, here we go.
A lady came to my office crying. She was so depressed. She said, Pastor, I just got fired, laid off from my job. They're cutting back and I just got laid off and I got 3 children all by myself and I was working at a hotel making beds. Now I lost my job. All I have in my hand is my last paycheck. What am I supposed to do? And she started weeping and complaining. And she said, this is all I have. And I got 3 children. How am I going to feed them? And she was there weeping. I just looked at her and I smiled. She said, how can you be smiling when my whole family just got canceled? I said, are you finished? Yes, Pastor. I said, okay. I said, I know you. You've been coming to this church a long time. I said, do you have an oven in your house? Yes. I said, how many times do you use your oven in a week? once. I said, wait a minute, you bought an oven and it's there 7 days a week and you only use it once a week. Yes, every Sunday. I said, that means you are abusing your oven. It is lying idle 6 days a week. Useless. What are you getting at, Pastor? I said, do you have any flour in your house? Yes. You have any sugar? Yes. He said, look, you remember those cookies you made for me a few times? Yes. I want you to go home and take this last check you have and buy all the ingredients that you made those cookies from. And I want you to make cookies and take them back to the same hotel that laid you off. And give everybody in the hotel free cookies. What are you talking about, Pastor? I said, just do what I say. If you obey me, you'll succeed. But I said, you obey me, and you'll succeed. Okay. So she left my office. I prayed for her, prayed over the check. I said, go. And she ran to the food store, baked cookies that night, called me up. She says, I'm going to the hotel to give them out. I said, that's fine. And she went to the hotel, little plastic bags, give everybody, all the employees, all the managers, supervisors, give everybody free cookies. And they were shocked to see her back on premises. She said, I just came to tell you all thanks. 2 days later, she called me. She says, Pastor Miles, I got orders for 15 dozen cookies. I said, that's good. I said, tell them you want prepayment. She went back, made them a little form, and they prepaid. She paid 15 dozen cookies. The next week, it was 25. 6 months later, she had to get a beautiful, what they call those big ovens? These industrial ovens. Then she hired 2 people to help her make the batter. 1 year later, this lady had an employment of 12 people, 1,000 dozen cookies every month. 2 years later, she has a factory. All the big food stores are buying her cookies packaged. And today she's a multi-millionaire. One day she came to see me, and she was dressed real sharp in a suit with a bag in her hand. And she said, Pastor, I just came to tell you thanks. I said, thanks for what? I forgot what was going on. She said, I bought you some cookies. I said, oh, I know who you are. Yeah. She said, yes, the company's going fine. 115 people on staff. Distribution all over the place. She said, I just want to thank you. And I want to thank God for them firing me. And she says, there's something in the bag. And I looked in the bag, there was an envelope. And I said, what is it? She said, just open it. I opened it up. With $10,000 check. She said, I just want to tell you thanks for letting me see that my gift was always in me and it was buried under a jar. And God knew I would never find my gift until he got rid of the jar. I said, Lord, let me find a few more cookie women, please. I got a feeling there's some cookies in this building right here. There's some ideas in this building right here. There's some things going on the inside that no one knows what you're carrying. But I prophesy, you shall deliver your baby to the world. And the world shall be impacted, and you shall change and make a difference in the world because of your gift on this earth. In Jesus' name, I prophesy. That lady is a testimony today. As I close this meeting, I want you to know that God sent me to upset you, that you will stop allowing other people to suffocate your dream and to stifle your vision. Inside of you is an awesome person that will change the world.
Bam!
All right. I love that story. I love that story. It's
She's
incredible.
been waiting to get that story out to you guys.
I know. I've been wanting to share that for a long time now. All right. So back to our slide here, not being coachable, teachable. I think we covered that. You see the power of being coachable and following a proven system. And number 4, not willing to put in the work. That meme says, don't be mad at lazy people. They didn't do anything. Right? So here's the thing. This is like people always say, this is network work. It is going to require some work. And we're going to tell you, there's actually another story. We actually have the privileges. It's been several years now. We were able to, it was after a big event, international event. I can't remember what state it was. I think it was Charlotte. But we went and we met with the top at that time, a top producing regional vice president. And he was hanging out with a regional director who was in Florida.
Yeah.
And she was very, very successful. She had been on the charts and so forth. And we really admired who she was. And so he let us sit together and we just started having a conversation about the struggles as far as, our challenges in the business and so forth. And then he says, what's holding you back? And she said, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Let me tell you what's holding me back. She says, the work. I know what it takes to be successful. And she says, honestly, that's what's holding me back. Because she knew, here's the thing, she's a regional director. She had been on the chart. So guess what? She knew how to get there. So if you can be regional director, trust me, you can be regional vice president. Okay. Because all you're doing is duplicating the same thing over and over again. And for her, that's what was holding her back. She was so afraid of putting in the time because she knew it was going to take time and effort that she wasn't willing to put into it. Okay. But here's the crazy thing. Where we are today, do you understand that what we had to do back then, get in our car and travel across town? Sometimes we would travel hours. We traveled to Bakersfield. Some people traveled further than that. I know people who traveled hours out of state, even the events that we used to go to where we would go and it would take, we're talking about money, time away from work, things like that, hundreds, if not $1,000 to go to these events. And now everything is literally in front of us at our convenience of our own home. So it's like to say that, oh my gosh, I have to put in so much work. That's not even the situation anymore. We literally could be here growing business internationally, anywhere. So that excuse doesn't hold true anymore. Because honestly, in some ways, I've heard even people in our organization that had said that. They were like, oh, I just remember how much work it was and I'm going to have to get going again and so forth. And honestly, yes, it will take dedication and so forth, but nothing nearly compared to what it did back then. I will just tell you with where we're at today. Okay. So that's not even a reason anymore. Okay. Did you have something to share?
No, you were on point.
You want to share about your sister?
Which part again?
Her coffee shop.
Oh, yeah. We were talking earlier is you start looking about getting in a business and to get an AC, and even with the price today,
no, it's crazy.
It's like, I'll be honest with you. To go buy a bicycle is more expensive to be in business. Right? So my sister wants to open up a coffee shop. Well, the local town kind of put her on the back burner, and it was back before 2008, so about 2007. So they're trying to get their stuff signed so they can open up their little coffee shop. They put her on hold. Finally, she had to get a lawyer to get the paperwork signed, which put her right at the beginning of the economic shutdown we were having in 2008. So she borrowed money from her home, borrowed money from family, opened up this coffee shop at the beginning of the economy collapse, recession, back in 2008, lasted for a couple of years. Let me tell you where my sister was for the year and a half, 2 years she had that coffee shop. Sun up, her and her family was at the coffee shop. Sundown, they shut the door, went home. She couldn't hire employees. She couldn't afford it yet. She's trying to get on her feet. A couple of years later, long story short, she has to let it go. She still owes money for that coffee shop. That coffee shop, for the time that she had it open, took everything from her. Her time, her money, her sanity. She's a little cuckoo now, or she's always been cuckoo, but anyway. But that's a regular business. That's what you're dealing with here. And now everything's on Zoom. We get to train all these awesome people on Zoom. To me, this is just stupid intelligent. Okay. This is but that's what, and she had this business in the palm of her hand, this business right here, and didn't do anything with it.
My question to you is, knowing the work ethic you put into this business, if you were to hire somebody, would you hire you knowing what you do or don't do in this business? And honestly, there's sometimes I wouldn't even hire myself. And I say that, to be truthful and to be transparent with everybody, because sometimes, like with his sister, she put so much into it that there was no option that will this succeed? It had to succeed in her mindset. That's why she lived, she breathed. Everything she did was her business. If we had that mindset in this business, we would get to where we wanted so much faster in a shorter amount of time. Why? Because we would not look at this business as a $224 investment. We would look at it as a do or die business. And because of that mentality, guess what? We would be successful. It wouldn't be a matter of, oh, okay, maybe will it work? No, it has to work, right? And see, that's the thing. Unfortunately, people come into this and treat it just like that. It's just a little investment, and it's just, then a few weeks down the road, they're not doing it anymore, right? Because they didn't think of it like, I'm investing everything I possibly can into it. And that's how we need to truly look at this business if we want to be able to get to the level we want to in this. Okay. So let's go into the final one. Number 5, quitting too soon. Quit too soon. People quit way too soon.
Even the baby gets it.
So my husband's going to share a story about that.
Quitting too soon. And I don't know if everybody here has heard about the story 3 Feet from Gold. Yeah, Miss Collins, you shaking her head, yes. So 3 Feet from Gold. I don't think, if you've heard it, a lot of people didn't realize the power in this, because so often what you got in your hand is because you weren't committed to yourself enough to commit to the end. Right? Not I'm going to try. When people tell me I'm going to try, I'm like, go join Amway. Go join something else. So that's, people try those things. I'm not about trying. And it's frustrating. But there's a gentleman 3 feet from gold. This is a story. Back, I think it was the early, or the late 1800s. So this guy was going to go out. He was going to go look a place to mine gold, right? So he goes out. He starts mining. He finds gold. He sees a vein there. So he's like, oh man, I got to go back. I got to raise some money. We made it big. So he goes back. He actually hides the place, right? Hides the place and takes a gold nugget with him, goes back home to Massachusetts. This was in Colorado. So he goes back home to Massachusetts. Hey, family, come here. Here's the gold nugget. I found it. There's a vein there. I'm going to go back and mine it. Do you want in? Do you want in? So everyone put the money in. He goes back to Colorado. He buys all this equipment. They start mining gold. The drills are going. The first bucket of ore comes out. He's like, oh, here we go. A couple more of these. All the equipment will be paid off. And then everything's profit after that. Second thing of ore comes out, and he's just like, man, one more of these, we're good. Except the vein went dry. It's like, oh, no big deal, we'll keep going. So they're drilling and drilling and drilling, nothing. So time passes and nothing. So he licks his wounds, goes back home. He's in debt, right? Because he wasn't able to pay off all the equipment. So he puts his stuff up for sale. So this old junk man buys it for a couple $100. So Darby takes that couple $100 and goes back home with it, right? So junk man, he's a junk man. He don't know nothing about no mine. But he was smart enough to find someone who did, who knew, right? Who knew how to tell him how to get where he wanted to go. Guy comes in, surveys, boom, boom, boom. He goes, yep, well, right here, if you would have gone 3 feet further, you would have picked the vein back up. And it's a good one. So, okay, sure enough, they start drilling. 3 feet later, he picks the gold back up again. And makes millions and millions of dollars, because that's exactly, which is crazy. But he knew enough to find someone, the expert, to get in there. Your upline, sideline, someone who's willing to help you. And he was coachable enough because the guy told him, you start digging 3 more feet, you're going to find gold. So are you coachable enough? 3 more prospects, you're going to find gold. 2 more prospects, you're going to find gold. Don't be the man who quit too soon, because that's who that gentleman Darby was known as after that, because he found out what happened. Now, time for another story on that one is, as bad as that was, he missed that vein by 3 feet. He went on to be successful in another career, but that lesson right there taught him to never, ever quit early again. And I hope you take that advice and never, ever quit early on anything you have plans on doing, the goals you have set.
Yeah. So, and just so you know, as far as quitting too soon, our mentor that literally locked arms with us, that we shadowed for months and months before we became independent of her, she not only missed out on one amazing regional director couple, but she actually missed out on 6 regional directors in her organization because underneath us. Yep. That's because she quit too soon. You know, had she sticked and stayed, you know, in this, and unfortunately she had all the skill sets. She was the coachable one. She had the skill sets, but unfortunately sometimes life will get in the way. And when life happens, sometimes it'll just derail us and it'll distract us from our dreams and goals. And unfortunately, that's what happened to her. And she'd be for sure regional vice president by now, had she just stuck and stayed and not quit too soon. So 3 feet from gold.
You're gonna bump your head, guys. You're gonna bump your head, and it's gonna hurt sometimes.
Yep.
Bumps go away.
Yep. So with that being said, that is our call. So I hope you guys took notes, and I hope you apply. Don't let that be any of you guys, right? Because you've all learned tonight. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that was not my baby picture. I see some of the comments.
All right, guys. Well, let's go knock it out this week. It's a brand new week, fresh new start. Let's go make things happen.
Do it, guys. All right. White chocolate out.